I'm just coming back from a meetup here in Singapore. Yeah, it was quite interesting. This is like the third time I've been to the same meetup. And yeah, it's the third time. I think this meetup might be a little rotten. I don't know. But it's like the third time since I've been here in Singapore where I'm having this experience where people are very openly critical. And I get the critical part, but very judgmental, very critical about as soon as they ask, they always ask, where are you from? It's like number one question, where are you from? And people always want to know. And I think Sonia and I were talking about that this question should be banned from meetups, because people immediately jump to conclusions. They have prejudices. At this same meetup, there were some French people there, and when they learned that Sonia was German, they immediately were like, "Oh, there's so many Germans here. There's too many Germans," and they had a lot to say about Germans, which was really kind of disappointing. They actually tried to move tables and like keep distance. It was really kind of disturbing to see. And I've now had it 3 times that I've been basically, openly people. Let me just give you an example. Tonight I had this French girl who basically one of her first comments to me was that America is a third world country full of white people. So yeah, this was needless to say, that's a heck of a way to start a new conversation with someone that you've never met before. And yeah, I think I had some other guy, a Singaporean guy, a couple weeks ago, and he essentially said something pretty off immediately, like America is essentially a shithole and it's a complete disaster. Funny enough, though, he's moving there soon. So yeah, it's just really a bit bizarre in some ways, and I'm not gonna lie, I find it very disheartening and discouraging that we're almost in 2025. We just had the Olympics, which is a showcase of bringing together a lot of different countries, and that some of these people have never even been to America. And it reminds me a little bit of like my first few months traveling in Europe. There's a lot of people that come from, let's say, kind of well-off countries, and a lot of them haven't even been to America, but they got a lot of smack. They've thrown a lot of shade. Yeah, it's I guess it's very conflicting for me, because I'm actually also very critical of America. I basically decided to leave and move away and start living and traveling abroad 7 years ago. And so I'm one of the first actually to be very critical about America, and you can see it in my actions and in my behaviors and in my choices. But I find it, it's very disappointing where we are as a global community and as a society, that people would be so hostile and I find it a bit ironic, because from my studies of Singapore, and it's almost 2 months that I've been here, it seems like what Singapore did in building their country, nation building, city building, to build their national identity, the multiculturalism, multi-ethnicity, and using English as a de facto language. It's kind of like textbook America to me. I know they have their own unique history and their own unique experience. I'm not taking that away, but it's actually, if there's any other country on the planet that actually screams you know, very similar to Singapore, it's America, a multicultural, diverse, multi-ethnic, not homogenous state where English is used because it's the useful global language, and where there's a pretty big focus on business, right? And being a global trading partner, global financial hub. These are all things that for me scream that's very similar to America. But yeah, I don't know. I try to not take it very personally, but it does somehow. It's disappointing that it's always like the first question that people have, and that there's not a better sense of like, who are you as a person? And America has its problems, but I think, I think people watch stuff on the news, and they see stuff on social media, and they generalize and they take these things way out of context, and they expand them to be like, that is all of America, that's the whole life in America. And for me, that's actually, I guess in a way, it shows how naive they are, because America's a massive place, probably getting close to 350 million people, and it's made up of immigrants from all around the world. And to make some of the comments that these people make is just, I think, very uninformed. But yeah, I'm not going to blame them, because I think a lot of them haven't been there, but it's just unfortunate that what they see in social media and what they see on the news is so somewhat biased and negative. And my experience in the last years is often like, I almost sometimes don't want to tell people I'm from America or that I'm American, because they immediately jump to conclusions, whatever they've seen in the news, whatever they've seen in the movies, and they're so opinionated and they act like they know the place. But there's a good chance actually they haven't even been. Or if they've been to like LA or New York, or they haven't even been to even a little tiny fraction and tiny segment of the country. So, little disappointing, but let's see how the next weeks go. I'm curious. I hope there's more open-minded and better informed and more traveled people that maybe have a little bit more of a realistic view on America.